Okay, I think I got the transition down.
Okay, so are you saying that we're live on the internet now?
I think we're live on the interwebs.
Okay.
Pretty sure
Um,
of it.
uh, all right then. Well, let's just get this thing going and so we can stay on schedule. You ready?
Sure, let's go with
Okay.
that.
All right. Welcome to Cardboard Conjecture. I'm your host, Norm.
And I'm Ryan.
And on this episode, we're going to chat about some games. We're going to slide in some news. And Ryan, what's the topic going on this time?
Oh, our topic has been suggested by good friend of the show, Jeff McNary from the Bridge City Board Gamers community here in Saskatoon. And he wants to know if our game collection was only limited to 5 games, what would they be? Was that dramatic enough?
That was dramatic. And I was just thinking about how painful it was trying to hone that list down. All right, coming back in. And we're back. This is Cardboard Conjecture. Let's get into some talking about board games. And Ryan, you go first. I've heard such cool things about this game.
Sure. So, a little game that I have been playing actually a lot. Like, if I'm checking my stats correctly here, I've probably in the past few weeks played this about like over 10 times. And that is Juicy Fruits, published here in North America by Capstone Games, part of their Family Games lineup. But I think it's originally published by Deep Print Games. And
Hmm.
the designer is Christian
Oh,
Store.
well done. Well done.
Yeah, I'll try. And yeah, Juicy Fruits is a kind of a nifty little resource management game, and I would also put it into contract fulfillment, where you have a board in front of you, and all around the edge of this board are a whole bunch of these boats, and what these boats want are, well, a whole bunch of fruits, and your board represents the island. And in
Okay.
the center 9 squares of your board, you have fruit tokens. And they all start off in a particular pattern and they're randomized.
Yeah.
Now, how you collect your fruits is actually you have to slide these tiles. So if I slide the orange tile up 1 space, I get 1 orange.
Okay.
Now, if I position them so far that, let's say later on, I can slide the banana tile over 2 spaces, I get 2 bananas. So however far you can push that token is how
That
many fruits.
sliding puzzle kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And now what you'll end up doing is you'll actually end up fulfilling the contracts, the boats around the edge of your board, and they'll come off, freeing up more spaces that you can slide these tokens on your board. So now they can start going farther distances.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's kind of like the main thing. And these boats all have a whole wide variety of point values. They range from like 1 point to more difficult ones are like 6 or 7 points.
Hmm.
And then also on the off to the side, not on your main player board, is a actual I'll call it a market board. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's got its own set of market things that you can pay a certain amount of fruits for to get some special tokens. And these special tokens will either be worth big points or they'll give you your own special action that you can take.
Hmm.
Like one of them is like fulfill a fruit stand, or sorry, create some ice cream. I think that's exactly what they do. And so I can take that ice cream token and I can slide it, and then that tells me how many ice creams I can make. And then at the bottom of the board tells you what the recipes for ice creams are, and they are worth
Oh.
certain amount of points. So, and then essentially that's the game. You go and go and go until, oh yeah, when you do that job market board, that's your timer. As soon as so many of
Hmm.
those tiles have been taken, then the game is over. And so it's actually really neat. That's the family mode that they put
Yeah.
into it. Now there's another mode that said for advanced gamers, and it just adds an extra phase. You flip the score track over, and now there's like a juice factory,
Uh-huh.
and it's just an extra thing that you can spend your extra resources
Oh
doing,
yeah.
pushing your tokens up this juice factory and getting more points and stuff like that. It's actually really, really, really quite neat. This game also boasts that it has 4 count them, Norm, 4 different solo modes
Oh,
that you can play
nice.
through. And I haven't even touched those yet.
Oh, nice.
I haven't even touched those yet because we actually been playing this as a family. Actually, Regan has picked up on it actually really quite nifty that he can slide his tokens knowing what fruits that he needs to
Well,
collect. And
I mean, the components are so cute, man.
oh,
And I don't use that word too often, but yeah.
yeah. Production value, huge, chunky wooden fruit tokens, which
Well
are
done.
really, really, really nice. The boards are really, really nicely laid out. Everything's so bright and family friendly,
Yeah. It's
vibrant.
appealing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It draws you in, definitely.
And I
I'm
think
looking at the
this is the
pictures on
first.
BGG. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the first one I think released in this Capstone Games family lineup.
Well,
So it was
yeah.
it's really good. I really enjoy it. I can't see this one leaving my collection. Jen likes it. Regan likes it.
Oh, I smell a review coming up with this one.
Yeah, it's saw the table quite frequently, and it plays actually really, really quickly, too. I don't think our games go much past a half an hour,
Well,
if they do.
What does it say here? It says 20 to 50 minutes.
Yeah,
so,
20. Yeah, which I think is about right. It is not an overly complex game.
Age 8 and up.
You can make it as complex as you want, kind of thing.
Nice.
So really enjoy it. Capstone Games. I think we mentioned it on the show before a few times.
Well,
They're
last
knocking it out
episode.
of the park.
Yeah.
They're knocking it out of the park.
And I mean, they started, for me, when they got my attention was the legitimate euros that they were bringing in. And then they started expanding, and then they started acquiring, and the way they're growing, to have, like, they had this, the Simply, what's the lineup? They have the Simply Complex.
The Simply Complex, yeah.
Yes, and now they have another family line. So well done, Capstone.
Yeah, I don't know how much more they're putting into that Simply Complex lineup. I think they're kind of more making their brand here with this family, and then they're kind of like their their Euro-ish thing. So
Yeah.
Juicy Fruits, big recommendation from me currently. So yeah, there might be a review in the near future.
Well, it looks like one of those, like, straightforward, easy to play games that has some depth underneath it.
Yeah, and like you always talk about the cognitive load.
Yeah.
Like this game was now with the Juice Factory. There were some extra rules. I remember that. I think I just played it how I thought it played without actually reading the rules, but there was actually some more complex things going on. I was like, oh, you could do that. Oh, we could do this. Okay, maybe I should have read the rules instead of just making up what I thought should have happened.
Well, I stand corrected. A
Yeah.
good thing, good thing we believe in conjecture, right?
Right? Or it's just like I've played so many games. I was like, this is exactly how this is supposed to go. Right?
I got this. I got this.
Yeah,
this.
it's actually
What is this?
it's actually meatier to with the Juice Factory piece when you have it. So
Yeah. Okay, I'm just looking at the one that I'm going to talk about, and according to PGG, your weight factor is 2.05. And the one I'm talking about, the weight factor is 3.59.
That's the sweet. I love games around that 3.5 to 4. That's my sweet spot of games.
And I started. You know what? Here's the pun. I dove into Underwater Cities.
Oh,
Yeah, dad joke. Wah, 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 wah. And of course, one of the reasons why is it's a solo, has a solo mode, and has a pretty cool solo mode to it too. Very kind of, it reminded me of Viticulture, where it's like a worker placement where you block stuff, right? So that's the solo thing. But it's Vladimir Suchi. I'm going to mispronounce the last name, but Vladimir Suchi or Suki.
Suhi. I only know that because Eric Summer did an interview, and that's how it stood out for me from then on.
Delicious Games, which is his publishing studio, because he used to work for Czech Games, I believe, because Shipyard is my first introduction to him. And I think Pulsar is another one of his.
Yeah, Pulsar 2849 is another Valimir.
So Underwater Cities, the gist on it is it's a worker placement engine building, card tableau, kind of designing, resource management, depending on your engine. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to build an underwater city. And in good Euro fashion, you're trying to, with your cards in your tableau and your assistants, you're trying to generate as many I think it's points. I'm playing the solo mode where everything comes down to points, but like a good Euro, it's points versus points. You can call them victory points, you can call them whatever. Um, but what's really cool about this game is there's 3 zones of of where you're going to place your workers, which are submarine tiles. I'm going to have to like get somebody to 3D print me some cool components for this. But you have the red zone, no, the green zone, the red zone, and the yellow zone, and they coordinate with the cards because the cards are grouped up in the same format that there's a red cards, green cards, and yellow cards. And if you put your tank, and so you put your worker or your tank down, and you have to play a card from your hand. You have the same amount of tanks, same amount of subs as you have cards. So you're trying to synergistically play down the same color of card to the same zone you're playing so that you can trigger the card action or power and optimize your turn. And like I said, all in on your player board, you have these 4 corners. You start out in one corner, and opposite corner to you is your end of game bonus. If you can get to that city and unlock that, mucho points. And then the adjacent left and right cities will have bonuses that you get when you immediately make connection, or and sometimes resource bonuses, depending on what you get. But yeah, so you play 3 phases but there's 2 phases of scoring. One is kind of mid, like you play 4 rounds and then you score, and then you play another 3, and then you score, and then you play another 3, and you're in the end. Yeah, I played. Oh man, in the last few days, I think I played 6 solo games,
Whoa.
and well, because was 30 minutes, right? 40 minutes
Wow.
solo.
I didn't actually realize the solo play was actually that quick.
Yeah, well, how the solo works, it's pretty cool. Is that you take an opponent's subs and you put it in the first slot on all the colors, right? Then
Mm.
you finish your turn, then you advance them 1. Now, here's the cool thing with the solo part. If you don't get any, what is it, the United Nations points or whatever that pushes you up on
Oh,
that
yeah.
right side track,
Yeah.
if you don't put yourself on even the last point, if you don't get on that track, you pull out another color, and you take a card and you count so many, and right, so if you don't participate in that part of the game, you start to clog up your choices, and your game just like your choices just narrow down fast. So you're
Mm.
always thinking that in the background of, I need to get knowledge. I can't remember what it is. Okay.
Mm.
But you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, if you can't get that, then you're going to start clogging it up. So usually closer to the last few rounds, when you're only after certain resources to get your engine going, you might not mind having another player on the board blocking. So yeah, yeah,
Cool.
it can cascade fast though. There's games where, man, before I even got in my second scoring, everything was just leaking. The subs got rivets popping up.
Blah blah
Yeah,
blah blah. Oh,
yeah.
cool. Yeah, this is a game I've played actually quite a bit. Never the solo mode. So maybe I might just have to just try it one. You're the solo mode expert. Where would this rank in like solo modes? In
Okay, so funny you talk about that, because I was thinking of doing a ranking of, or a categorization of, here's the different solo engines that I've discovered in my time. But
that would actually
this
be a
one,
really good discussion.
yeah, this one, I would say I don't- it does a good job of allowing me to play my turns, and not that I have cardboard ADD, but to play my turns as fast as I can, without waiting on anybody else, right? You know that that idea of like, I already know my turn. I already know my turn. Come on, come on, right? So for me, it's just like bang, 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 bang. Okay, I did what I can. Advance the things. Take my card. move, like move the piton up to the next level. All right, I get my turn. Here we go. Boom, 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 boom. Or else, if I didn't do that knowledge track, here we go. We come on another one. I find a way to place them on the board. It allows me to play so fast that I think the unbusyness to this mechanism makes it such a cool game to play.
Right
Yeah.
on.
And now the
Cool.
only thing is you're playing to you're trying to hit a certain point level, right?
Ah,
A point level, and you have to at least get a certain amount of cities, domes on your board, right? So if you don't check those
so a
two,
couple goals, kind of like the Terraforming
yeah,
Mars solo mode.
yeah,
You have to be able to push those parameters, and
yeah,
by the time you get to the 14th or 15th
those thresholds,
generations,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I think one of the thresholds is if you can't score more than 100 points, don't even mail it in. If you can't get 7, yeah, I think it's 7 domes out of 9,
Hmm.
then don't even bother, right?
Cool.
So yeah, that is Underwater Cities
Cool.
by Vladimir Suchy.
And do you have the expansion?
I ordered it.
Nice. The dual layer player boards are 100% worth it.
Oh, really? Okay, I
Oh
was
yeah.
wondering. It's like, well, for cards and an extra thing, that's kind of a
No.
meaty
Dual
price
layer
for
player
an
boards,
expansion. Oh,
worth it.
yay.
Nothing
Okay,
sliding
yeah.
around anymore on you.
Because that was the thing for me is, I mean, I got 2 cats, and people who have cats and board games know that it doesn't matter if it's on the table, it's cat domain, right? So the cat jumped up once and like landed hard and everything shook. It's like, oh, come on,
Oh,
right?
come on,
Yay.
man.
Yeah, come on, cat. So yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So we got it, Brian, we got that new section in now.
Yeah, do we address the elephant in the room that Ian's not joining us on tonight's recording? And that's just unfortunate because Ian's decided that he's going to take a little bit of a break from the podcast
Oh,
recently
from the board gaming side, because
from the board
he's
game.
got a big passion in film and cinema,
Yeah,
and
he's got a
has
fantastic movie podcast that he's doing
yeah.
with a couple guys, which are
So
I can't remember now exactly what it's called. I've listened to it a few
we'll put a link
times.
up in the notes, yeah, when I put the
Yeah.
podcast.
So
up.
he's got that. And plus the
yeah.
school year's coming on. He's always very, very busy in the school year. So we will see Ian in the future again. He's just not going to be a regular. So we thought we'd fill his spot currently with some news. Oh, I got to program like a soundboard. Get that in here.
Yeah, because we can't get any geekier than a board game podcast.
Right? Okay. So the first bit of news is what I think that a lot of people from the Saskatoon area is going to be really, really itching to hear about, is that our Facebook community page, which is because we have to be confusing. We have the Bridge City Board Gamers page, which is the actual media
The
stuff.
community, yeah.
No, I am talking about like our other like our page that
Oh,
does
okay.
all our media stuff, and then we have our community, which
Yeah.
is where everybody can post garage sale items, gaming recommendations, and stuff like that. So our community page hit 400 members, which is I think fantastic. I thought it was just going to be me and my friends for a while there. So there was like 20 of us for like the longest time, and then just it kind of started snowballing over the past little while.
Yeah.
So I thought I would just do a giveaway for
Well, you said that, and I thought it was a great idea.
yeah.
So
So I said, okay, $20 for Dragon's Den games and $20 for Amazing Stories, because 20 times 20 is 400. That's where my reasoning was.
Yeah.
So, and then
Can't
also
hold back a math guy.
I've got like a stack of little games here that have been donated to us to give away as prizes. So I'll give the lucky winner a choice of whatever games are in that pile, because that pile just needs actually just to go, because it's taking up room. There's some good titles in there, so I hope they enjoy it. So Norm, this is what I need you to do.
Okay.
I need you to pick a number
Yeah.
between 1 and 43. There were 43 people that commented on the Facebook post that got you entered into the contest.
Let's go with 17.
17. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10,
I feel
11,
like
12,
counting.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17 is Marion Clark. Congratulations, Marion. I hope you listen to the show. If not, I will reach out to you through the Facebook community page and let you know that you've won. Now, what did Marion write here? Why did she? So they had the comment about what they liked about the group.
That's right.
And Marion says, I like hearing what zany new game everyone's trying to get their hands on, which we kind of do. We always pump up the hotness. There's a lot of people that are the cult of the new.
A lot of junkies.
Yeah. Me. So
Yeah.
cool. So now I had to heart. I put the little heart icon on everybody's comment because it just made me realize how awesome this group is.
Oh
That
yeah.
we have. Like there's so many people. There's like they're really into like they love it that there's a local source of gaming information. There's people that they can relate to. People.
Well, lately I've seen people reaching out saying, "Hey, I'm new to the area, and I was wondering what's going on," and immediate response. So yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a couple people say they love the memes that I post about acquiring too many games and such like that. So, yeah, I don't know. It brought a tear to my eye that we actually have 400 members. Actually, as of today, we're at 403 members. So, well done, folks. And Marion, I'm going to reach out to you very, very shortly.
Well, I hope we can keep doing some inspired giveaways. And thank you to the sponsors.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah, they step up. Darren at Dragon's
Yeah.
Den and Jeff at Amazing Stories. Like, they're fantastic folks. If you don't know who they are, go and say hi. Say that Ryan and Norm recommended you come to this store. They'll get you signed up on their little discount programs and
First they'll laugh and go, "Okay, what are you all addicted to buying now because of what they said?" Yeah.
yeah, pretty much. They are always
Right
bringing
on.
in the hotness.
Speaking of new games, you'd mentioned, "Hey, should we talk about this and should we talk about that?" And I thought, I'm not as deep into the crowdfunding scene as you. I mean, I've got some Kickstarter stuff came in. I just recently got Captains of the Gulf and Crescent City Cargo, that some Spielwork stuff that I'm frothing to play. No, wait, yeah, yeah. Oh, and brought in by Stronghold was
Ooh,
the North American publisher
nice.
connected to that. But and and I think I have some Kickstarter. Cascadia is coming in. I think I got a little notice of.
Oh, yeah, Canadian people have started receiving their stuff.
So I thought, yeah, let's talk about some crowdfunding stuff for Kickstarter. Well,
Cool.
Kickstarter and GameFound. So you started
Oh,
up,
yeah,
man.
yeah, because you can't talk one without the other because GameFound is rivaling Kickstarter. Now, GameFound does have their roots in Europe mostly
Yeah.
because it's the company, it's the Awaken Realms really created that platform. It was what they were using as their pledge manager, and now they're using it as a crowdfunding source for folks and everything like that. But the one that I have on my list is not a GameFound one. It's actually on Kickstarter, and
Yeah.
when this episode releases, there's only going to be a few days left. I think this is live until
8
August
days
31st.
to go.
It's
Yeah.
8 days to go as of this recording, and this is Aridia, The Paths We Dare Tread. Now, I picked this one because I also want to plug my other show that I'm doing
Oh,
with
yeah.
Jason from Dice and Dragons and Rob and Anna Marie from the Meeple Dungeon. We have a YouTube show called Kickstarter Excess or Value, where we're picking crowdfunding campaigns and we're talking about whether or not it's a good deal or not, what we like, what we don't like about the platform, and what you're getting in the campaigns and stuff like that. So, and we just talked about Aridia, just released. So if you want to hear my in-depth thoughts about Aridia, you can go over to Dice and Dragons YouTube channel.
Now
There
that
we-
was the very polite introduction of what you guys do. Now the meta of what you guys do is try to
Coerce.
downplay the "I don't need this, I don't need that," and then by the end of the episode, you guys are all clicking It's like, gotta get the game
Well,
going.
what I like about the Kickstarter Excess or Value series is that it's actually been quite therapeutic for us.
Yeah, it's like a group session.
So and it always ends up like all of us either like we've talked everybody out of backing it, or like what I've started doing is doing the $1 levels. So it's like I'm not
Just
fully committing right now.
yeah, I just want to pay attention. I just want to get in on the dialogue, right?
Yeah.
That's all I want. I
Oh,
just
yeah.
want to be. I just want
Yeah.
to be part of the scene.
Yeah. So Aridia, The Past We Dare Tread, is right now on crowdfunding. It's a hugely successful crowdfunding game. It's made by Far Off Games, and it's the same design team that brought us Zaya Legends of a Drift System. So
That pulled my interest immediately.
big pedigree right now, and it's a huge, like if you take a look at what this game, it's a huge open world exploration campaign type game,
Yeah.
where it kind of reminds me of like those top down Super Nintendo open world, like Link to the Past things, because you're gonna be walking around and all of a sudden you walk into a house, and then the house is actually a tile. It'll flip over, and now you're inside the house. So,
Oh, cool.
and then you can interact with things. There's an RPG element here, Norm, where you can actually where if you're playing with a group,
Yeah.
you actually have to start role playing some of the characters that these other people are interacting with. And then there's
I see a D20 in the background, and yeah.
and
Are
then
you
there's
getting it?
there's
Are you
a
getting
combat system. Stop.
Are you getting it?
Don't interrupt me.
Are you getting it?
Don't interrupt me here. Huge combat system. Right now I'm at the $1 level.
Okay.
And,
Okay, so
here's why.
all right. Okay, tell me why.
Here's why. It's because of this RPG element system. It says that it's a solo play game because it's cooperative. It's a cooperative game. All cooperative games can be played solo. But it's this RPG element, and I don't know how the RPG element is going to play out with a solo character. They haven't released the full rule set, so I don't know exactly how playing a solo game is going to work. So that's why I'm at the $1 pledge level right now. I just want to see what it's like,
right.
but I might just end up clicking it anyways because this game looks awesome. But
Okay.
I have a whole bunch of other campaign games already sitting on my shelves that are not finished yet, but what's one more?
Absolutely.
Just what's one more?
One more. Not to push this segment too long because we have a 5-game collection segment to talk about, but I put 2 on here just because I thought this is cool. And the first one on Game Found, and the first one is I can't even say the title without cracking up. Masters of the Universe, Fields of Eternia. Yeah, we're talking He-Man.
The other He-Man game.
Oh, is there another He-Man that's out there too?
Coming in early September, there's the Simon He-Man game coming out.
No wonder these guys are trying to get this out fast. Yeah, by Archon Studio. So, not that I want to, I never got into that cartoon, and but I just thought, wow, as far as diving into the IP bucket, this was catching it on the edge kind of thing. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I know exactly what I think about it. It looks amazing, except for there's no shipping to North America. Absolutely zero, unless if you find one of those shipping companies that will pick up your order and ship it to North America for you. There's no way to get that game actually in North America.
Okay.
So that was when I saw that, I had to cancel it because I had to cancel all my thoughts because there's no way.
And that's probably because,
it.
like you said, this Game Found's a Europe-based app, I guess. So, or community. The other one I want to, and again, this one I don't follow the IP at all. It's The Witcher Old World, and what caught my eye immediately were the minis.
Oh gosh, they look amazing.
Like whatever this elk moose skeleton thing is. I mean, right away I thought, oh, let me paint that, please.
That one's in late pledge mode right now.
I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, because we did that was one of our first episodes for Excess or
Oh,
Value.
that's right.
We talked about Witcher Old World, and we talked about that there is value in it,
Hmm.
but there is also like all the extra stuff that you're gonna get. Like you're never gonna play with all that stuff.
Well,
This
and
this
I'm
has got
scrolling.
CMON.
Yeah.
This had CMON model written all over
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Like the gameplay all in is $280. But
Is that 280 euro?
I no, it says it has there's not a euro. It has like
Okay.
it has like a
Okay.
North American dollar symbol. Um uh, but there's just a table full of minis.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I mean
it looks
Kingdom
really
Death
cool.
Monster, that's in that same range, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
up to 5.
Oh yeah. Don't get me wrong. Witcher Old World actually does look really, really good. It
Cool.
just wasn't a game for me, but
Yeah.
that one made a schwack load of money during
So
the
this
campaign.
So this legitimately caught my attention because it was designed to do so. Oh, it says a solo mode.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to look at that. This is a bad idea having this segment.
Welcome to Ryan like 3 or 4 years ago.
All right. Okay. Well, that's
Once
you
the
know
bug gets you, it gets you.
what? That's a perfect segment mode. So let's bug. That's about it. Okay, coming back in. And we're back. This is Cardboard Conjecture. We're going to go into topic. And Ryan, how about you lead us into the explanation of what's going down with this crazy idea?
Sure. So this was another one of our contests. We're just giving away stuff left, right, and center tonight.
We're throwing out the window.
Throwing it all. A while ago, we said that we are approaching episode 100 of Cardboard Conjecture. And
I know, right?
And that our ideas aren't as fresh as they once were. And
Well,
so
and we have kids, so I gotta
Right?
sleep. Yeah.
top games that have unicorns.
Yeah, woo! More Ryan's World. Yeah.
So, I put a contest at the beginning of the summer asking folks to submit topics that they thought would be interesting for us to talk about. And we pulled one. This wasn't my choice. I think this one was your choice. I think you chose it, this one.
I like torture.
Jeff McNary suggested that if we could only have 5 games in our collection, I can't remember exactly how he worded it, but if we could only have we interpreted it as if we could only have a 5-game collection, what would they be?
Because we're pretty much at that point now where everything is 5-game collection. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know what it is. I can't remember what your collection is. So this took me. I have to take my 335 games behind me, and if I was going to make a 5-game collection out of all 3, I have to cut. Essentially, no, not cut. That's a bad word to use because I'm not really getting rid of them. But hypothetically, if I only were to create a 5,
you'd have to
collection,
filter. You had to filter so many games.
Mm-hmm.
Let's use that word. You're filtering.
Yeah. So
Like good coffee.
yeah. So what you talk about? You talk about the criteria that you used for your list?
Yeah. Okay. You want me to? Okay. So mine was, I went about this like I'm narratively story driven, and you're the math guy. If I was to be on, let's say, a trip to Mars, and if it's like, okay, look, you've got this much room to take everything, and so
that's
here's your slot for 5 games. Here's your here's your container. Like, I mean, working a lot of friends of mine work in the rock and roll industry, and when they go on the road, they have to design their road kit down to what travels on, the buses or the trucks, right? Or the freight containers. And then they divide it down to, you have 3 cubic feet, right? So my approach was, I'm going on something where I'll never have access to another game again. 5 games. What's going to be able to keep my brain active for that theoretical, and for me, this was complete, thought exercise, but that whole idea of, okay,
now
for me it was,
before you get into that too, did you ever give any thought about like Um, I need to have a game for certain situations.
Well, I was just going to say,
Okay,
I broke it
sorry.
down to I need a dexterity game. I need a good abstract puzzle game.
Okay,
I need a good interaction game. And I need a good pure, like the purest Euro kind of thing.
okay,
Right. Right. I would like, if I'm going to have scotch, I'm going to have a teenaged single malt something that has, like I'm going to have the refined,
okay,
right? So that was my approach to it was uh, that idea of no coming back. This is what I have, and and fitting the categories, right? Because I don't want, you know,
okay,
5 dexterity games.
okay, okay.
And you?
So okay, so I like that you posted it on Twitter too. You
Yeah, I
posted it out
know.
there, and it was really interesting reading people's thoughts and everything like
We'll
that.
get
Because
to those too if we
yeah,
have time.
yeah, and so mine went with. So I started framing it around. Okay, 5 game collection. What? So I need. I'm going to create what I think is what I would like as a whole. And so what I chose was a light,
Yeah,
medium, and heavy Euro
yeah,
game,
yeah.
an abstract game, and a campaign game.
Okay.
So that's what. And so when what and refine it even more, I had to have. If these are going to be the 5 games that I'm going to be, this is my collection. I'm going to be playing. So replayability needs
Yeah.
to be high
Oh yeah.
on these games. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, I included games that have expansions because the
Oh
expansion just adds to the game. The expansion
yeah.
is not a separate game to itself. So these
No,
games,
no, it's part.
some of these games have expansions, and the gameplay. This is where I was like, do you have it for different situations? The gameplay needs to be decent at all of the player counts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was very, very hard. This was
Okay,
a
now
bad exercise.
I know it was painful. Kate, at your number 5,
Oh,
do
we
you
had to
have a little
rank
bit?
them? Oh,
Okay, well,
I
how
just
about
have
this?
5 games.
How about this? Were there are there like two that are close to making your list but didn't make your list?
I have no idea because I just listed 5 games.
Okay, well, I won't talk about that. I'll give you pain. You know what? And I'm going to strike the 2 that I have off here. Now, mine are in
Okay.
no particular order because I
Yeah,
said
mine aren't
categories.
either. Yeah.
So do you want to start? We'll go back and forth, and then we'll go
Okay.
into the Twitter
Sure.
responses.
Okay. So, like I mentioned, there's the 5 things that I was looking for. So, for my
Yeah.
light game,
Okay.
it plays with any number of players. It advertises you could play it solo to 99 players, and I Welcome to
Hmm.
was it's a great light strategy game. It's very small, compact, but I really enjoy the simplicity of it. It's got tons of replayability.
Oh yeah.
There's lots of different little expansion maps that you can get for it. Just the deck of cards and the thing that we really enjoy Welcome to. It comes out quite often when we did have regular game nights and stuff like
It's
that.
easy to play and it's difficult to play well.
Yeah, right. And then there's different modes of play too with the different expansions
Yeah.
that you can add into it. But yeah, Welcome to I thought would fit nicely into a only
Oh
five
yeah.
game collection. You could play it any number of times with any number of players. Really simple to play. We never get tired of it.
No.
We've never gotten tired of it.
Yeah.
We actually had to laminate some of our player sheets because we started running. We're getting really thin on the pad.
I'm right with you. Yeah, absolutely. Cool.
So
You know what? I like that one too. Um, uh, I'm going to say mine because I posted it on Twitter and then I put question marks afterwards. Uh, just because this dexterity, the greatest dexterity game of them all is Crokinole.
mm,
And if anybody knows me or has listened to anything I talked about connected to this, there's a connection. There's a nostalgic, there's a generational, there's a bind to this game. And I think what I like most about well, you talk about replayability. I don't think I've ever played the same game of Crokinole twice. You know what I mean?
I don't think you can.
Yeah, exactly right. Um, and it's one of those. It's a sandbox game because you could throw the rules away and just start doing trick shots, or you can.
Oh, it's the game that's made for ultimate house rules.
Yeah,
You can
yeah,
play it however you want
yeah.
and
So
still have a blast.
to me, the dynamic range of applicability that this game has, right? Um, just as long as you respect the one cheek rule, I got no problems. So yeah, that's mine. Crokinole. What do you got?
Okay, so now I'm going to move up into my medium category. And this one was really hard. I had two games at it that were going back and forth for the medium category. And I'm ultimately settled on one of my top games of all time, which was Five Tribes.
Hmm.
So Five Tribes would definitely be
Yeah.
in my 5 game collection. It's one of our games that we've played the most in our gaming career with me and my wife. Has an awesome, I arguably one of the best 2-player variants in any of these medium strategy games. It's got one of the best. It plays great at 3 players. It plays awesome at 4 players. It plays at all of those player counts, and you are never going to play the same game of Five Tribes twice, just the way how the randomness of how the board sets up.
The layers of randomness, not just single randomness.
Yeah, just like comes out from the location tile order to what color of meeples are placed out. Like, my wife has her general strategy of what she likes to do in Five Tribes, but she can't do it if the board is not set up to do it properly.
The planets
Stuff
aren't
like that.
aligned.
And I'm the same way. Like, if we play with the Artisans expansion, I'm all about grabbing the purple meeples. I want to see what those bonus tiles do. But sometimes when we play with that expansion, it's not optimal to go for those purple guys. I might have to go with some get the visors or something like that better or something like that.
It's a false objective. Yeah.
So, and yes, tons of replayability. Can play it with pretty much. It is kind of got a little bit more meat on the bones.
Yeah.
But you can definitely play it with almost any type of group.
For sure.
And so
there's the proneness to AP in that one, because you look at the board and trying to make in your mind all those like a detective board with the yarn going to this, that, and go where you drop, what you're dropping, where you're ending up. Oh, that just thinking about that makes my brain hurt sometimes.
Yeah. So Five Tribes is part of my 5-game collection, and no pun intended. Really. The one that didn't make out that spot, the one that didn't make out on that spot was Wingspan.
Ooh,
it was a very tough choice between the two.
All right. Well, the next one I want to talk about is the one that fits my abstract puzzle kind of category. It's not an abstract game, but the game system itself is an abstract puzzle, and that is Spirit Island.
Ooh,
and
beautiful.
Yeah, and with one, it plays brilliant solo, and it plays brilliant. I mean, I've not played, multiple players because of isolation and everything, but I've heard everybody who's talked about it has their preference. Some people like solo, some people like 2-player. I've heard people play 4-player, and it's a longer game, but they absolutely have it. And that's the brilliant thing about the game, is it scales so well. And speaking of expansions, there's just so much to just explore, and the combinations and synergies and what works well with the other. Yeah, that's mine. And I mean, the way everything is delivered in the game, as far as the sequence goes, there's so much that happens in moving parts, and yeah,
cool.
I know you have this game.
I do. It's just kind of just whoops, go the other way. It's just over my shoulder, beside my shoulder here. Yeah, I haven't played it too much recently. I played it quite a bit when I first got it. I really enjoy it. It's really fantastic. What they managed to do with that game is quite phenomenal. Really, they really essentially eliminated the alpha gamer in the cooperative game. because there is
Bravo.
so much going on, and you have to think about what you are doing on your turn, let alone what other people are doing.
Yeah.
You can give general hints of what we should try to do, but
And the closest you have to being concerned about somebody else is if when you come into proximity.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, Spirit Island. What do you got next?
Okay, so for my heavy Euro game, I've got so many heavy Euro games. But to bring it down, I went back and forth between two. And if I wanted one in my 5-game collection that I absolutely want to play all the time, and that's Gaia Project.
No.
That Terra Mystica system, but placed in space
Yeah.
with new alien races and some different game mechanics and everything like that. I absolutely love this game. It's a bonus if I can just have it on one of the games that I can actually play on my laptop, because I play the crap out of it there too. But Gaia Project, there's so much replayability. It's awesome at 2, 3, and 4 players. Just checking off all this. It doesn't have expansions, but there's so much variability already in the game itself.
Yeah.
There's lots of races to explore. I still haven't played with all of them. I've played this game quite a bit, because I'm like the guy who likes to play a race, and I like to play it a couple times,
Get
just
a
to
sense
try to get the sense of it, and then I'll move on to the next one, type of thing. Kind of like what I
like
did
to
with
sample.
Root. Like
You're
what I
sampler.
did, yeah, I did it with Root, type of thing. So, Gaia Project is
Nice.
definitely one, and then the one that we was competing with, that I eventually said, yeah, okay, A Feast for Odin was my other one, but Gaia
Okay.
Project definitely beats out Feast for Odin.
Right on. Well, my third one is I wanted to have a game that was all about back and forth, right? Not necessarily beating each other up, but it was a head-to-head match. And it is by far my favorite cat and mouse game, and that's Star Wars Rebellion.
Ooh.
Yeah, I bet everybody says it's Star Wars in a box, and they're right. This is this is one of those games that anybody can say, "Hey, you want to play Star Wars Rebellion?" And I could be in the middle of something important, and I'm going to be like, "Give me a second, let me wrap this up." So for me, the IP, I love Star Wars. I mean, it was one of the movie franchises that I grew up with, and that I I'm in the cult of Apple, and I'm in the cult of Star Wars. So yeah, the variability, the different ways you can play this game, the different ways things come out, it is by far the most fun push pull cat and mouse resource generation, trips down. How many times can I have Han Solo blow up the Death Star? Right?
Oh,
Right?
yeah. Great story. Great stories you can create
Yeah.
with that game.
So yeah, Star Wars Rebellion.
Cool.
That's my number 3.
Doesn't bother you that in this fight, but that's a 2-player only type of game, and it's major in this 5-game hypothetical.
Nah,
Nah,
doesn't bother me.
doesn't bother you at all.
No,
Cool.
because you know what? We can take turns. Go get something to eat, and then you can play the winner. There you go.
Perfect.
Cool.
Okay.
So what's your number 4?
Okay, my next one is going to fill in that abstract, because we love our abstract games in the Rao household here. And out of all of them, I found that Sagrada was the one that I wanted to put into this one. It's got such a high replayability with it. It plays amazing at all of the player counts. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's so puzzly. I always called it Sudoku with dice.
Yeah.
Type of thing. You're trying to you're drafting dice, and you're trying to fit them onto your player board window. 2 numbers can't be side by side. 2 colors can't be side by side. And you're trying to fill in this pattern. You're trying to meet objectives.
Yeah.
So like rows that don't have the same number in them will score you points, or rows or columns that don't have the same color are going to score you points, or score points for pairs of 1s and 2s type of thing. Oh, we love Sagrada so much. It's actually got a bunch of expansions for it that I have, but we've never played with. Just
Of course.
because
Of
we
course.
love the base games so much, and there's so much variability with that that I know that we will get to the expansions eventually. It's just that they better bring. I hope that they bring something fantastic because we absolutely adore this game. So filling in the abstract piece, it wasn't even close. Sagrada is part of my 5 game collection.
Cool. Well, my fourth one is in the category of the purest of Euros, and
I
and
know it is.
and it's also in the next episode of the ugliest box cover, and that's Hansa Teutonica.
I don't know if we've mentioned this game on the show
I don't
before.
think I don't think I've ever talked about this before. Um, Networking, the Euro, it's the ugliest looking, the blandest. It's the everything's a taupe and tan color, but it is cubes, it is networking, it is action points, it is glorious Euro to the core. There is no randomness, there is no flukes, there is no chance. Everything comes down to how well you play the game, and not just play the game, but how well you I always call it the Bruce Lee, how you bend like a reed in the wind.
Mm-hmm.
Because if everybody's going after something, then something else is open. There's something else available to you. So there's no, everybody's going to get more action. Well, then go explore another part of the board, or go, there's just so much for this game to offer. And I think there's a big box that just got released.
Yeah, they just kind of just threw the expansion maps that were hard to find in there.
Yeah,
And I think they also cleaned up
I got
the.
all those.
Yeah, I think they cleaned up the 2 player rules as well.
Oh, the rule book is atrocious. Oh yeah, that's part of that game is trying to find all of the PDFs to straighten out some of the edge case stuffs. But that's how good this game is. So Hansa Teutonica.
Great.
You.
So this is my last game. And so I mentioned that I had to have a campaign game because campaign games take a long time. If I'm going to have a 5 game collection, I got to have that one game that's just going to take me forever to do. Now, initially, I wanted to have Gloomhaven on here. Gloomhaven
Yeah,
didn't make it. It is a big game. It's going to take
yeah.
me, it'll take people a while to play it.
I think I know what it
But
is.
my 5 game collection can't be complete without my #1 game of all time, which is Arkham Horror, the card game, which has many campaigns, many expansions to it, so many character investigators that I can deck build around. That's the replayability for me, is building the decks, taking them out on the adventure, trying them out. Yes, I've seen the adventures now. I know what the plot lines are,
Mhm.
but now I'm trying to be optimal. I haven't seen all of the endings. There are
Yeah.
alternate endings, or there's many ways that the resolutions can be. I haven't passed every scenario that Arkham Horror has released. And so I think that actually, if I just had just Arkham Horror, if this was a 1 game collection, everything for Arkham Horror, I think I could tide myself over for quite a time, for quite a while.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. This is like the first time you talk about that game.
oh, right?
Cool. Uh, yeah, y- that's a fine choice. And I'm still I'm still embarrassed to say that I've yet to play my base game. Shame on me. So, my number 5. I want to tell you the 2 games that didn't make the number 5 before I tell you this number 5 part.
Mm,
Um, this one was kind of a catch-all. I want to be able to, appeal to a lot of people, more than solo kind of thing. And what didn't make the list was Three Kingdoms Redux.
okay.
Probably one of the best 3-player games
Okay.
ever designed. Variability, all the generals, brilliant game, brilliant.
Got it. Okay.
Um, the next one is one of my favorite mechanisms, and that's worker placement and viticulture. Didn't make
Oh.
the list.
Ooh, okay. That's surprising.
Okay.
That's surprising.
What made the list? Because it's got a lot of maps. It works great at 2. It works great, right? Concordia.
Mm.
Concordia is that middle range. Just put the game down and play it. There's no, it's here. I'm going to use this card. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to, oh, I can't do this yet, but I can do this now, right? There's always so many options. I have even I mean my win record is pretty poor, but my enjoyment record is off the charts. I love this game every
Right.
time I play it, right? Because I mean, you feel so clever because you get to find how things are working for your cards and how you're playing it, and also too, when you see in the markets like, oh, I need to get that card, and you're eyeballing the people around the table going, do they see what I see, or am I the only one that sees what I see? Nah, everybody has to see what I see. It's obvious, right? So, yeah, I like that whole gameplay that happens with that game. So,
Yep. And one of the best scoring mechanisms I think that I like that your action cards are also your point scoring opportunities, which is really quite neat.
multipliers and
Yeah.
and
Cool.
it's one of those games where you just don't know till the end if you've really won yet, because
Right.
it's just kind of, did I get the cards? Did they get the more multipliers? Oh, I needed one more building, one more province.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, yay. Well,
So
let's take a,
so let's recap
yeah.
for
So go
Jeff.
ahead.
For Jeff, because I
Yep.
think he's our only listener at this moment in time. So, our 5-game collection, what we wanted. So I went with 5 Tribes, Welcome to, Sagrada, Gaia Project, and Arkham Horror, the card game.
Cool. Cool. Mine was Crokinole, Spirit Island, Star Wars Rebellion, Hansa Teutonica, and Concordia.
Now, can I add in here that I actually made a second list?
Oh no, of course you did.
I made so I made the one for the podcast, like the
Yes.
one that I was like, okay, I'm gonna really critically analyze things. Now, the one that I would actually go with, the 5 games that personally, out of all of these things, if the ones that were gonna stay that I would play forever, Arkham Horror the card game, Marvel Champions the card game, Ashes Reborn, Twilight Imperium 4th edition, and Star Wars Imperial Assault. Those ones, like 4 out of the 5 are Fantasy Flight games, and then 3 of them are card games.
You like your card games.
I was actually reflecting.
That's your junkie.
Reflecting. Yeah, I was reflecting for a while that I said, actually, those 3 card games, Arkham Horror, Marvel Champions, and Ashes Reborn, if those were the 3 games that I just played for the rest of my life, I think I would be happy.
So that sometimes I like to call that's my selfish list.
Oh,
If
yeah.
it was just about me and
Yeah.
not thinking about everybody. Just my
Twilight
selfish
Imperium.
list.
Twilight Imperium, you just set it up for days and just
Well,
take your
well,
turns.
seeing Gaia, to me, Gaia Project's kind of a Euro version of that ish, without having.
And then Star
played the
Wars
same
Imperial
amount of games.
Assault has multiple, like it has the skirmish mode, and it has
Well-
the campaign stuff too. And
Speaking of, you just triggered my brain. I put together a quick list here of the Twitter responses, and I believe that where are we here? Dice and Dragons put down Madara, Descent Second Edition full collection, Imperial Assault full collection, Thunderstone Quest, and Cthulhu Death May Die.
nice.
So-
That's a huge. There's so much game
Yeah.
in all of those games.
Yeah.
That's
and
amazing.
I have to mention this one because there's some agreement here. Jordan Spike's Snowdonia Deluxe Master Set. Yeah, that's a great one. Argent the Consortium. I've always wanted to play that one. Hansa Teutonica. Yay.
Ooh.
Chaos in the Old World and 1862.
Ooh, an 18XX game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of Dice and Men. I'm
Yep.
assuming this is Chad.
Yeah.
He said tough one, but Battlestar Galactica, Seventh Continent, Kingdom Death Monster,
Yeah.
Gloomhaven, and Eldritch Horror. Maybe. Depends if I can keep my expansions. Yes,
course you
Chad,
can.
keep your expansions.
Of course you can. Right on. This one made me laugh. This Friday Night Games, Root plus 4 expansions.
Just Root. all day, every day.
Yeah.
What was it here? Definitely a board game podcast said Agricola, Snowdonia, DC deck building, Clinic, and
Nice.
Ticket to Ride. All games that have lots of expansions and different methods of play.
Cool. This is one that a game I want to play, and I think a game that's being held hostage from you. Board Game Hot Takes podcast. Anachrony, Dune Imperium, Everdale, Tapestry, Isle of Skye.
I'm good, he says.
Yeah, I'm good. Anachrony. I love my worker placement, and you keep telling me that this is one of the best.
It's so good. It's so good.
Right on.
Shane, who loves games. Shadows of Brimstone. I've heard great things. Talisman, Dead of Winter, Dark Tower, The Willow board game. I thought that one was interesting. I have to look that one up.
It caught me off guard. What? Cool. Board game GK. Ulm. Yeah, we both played Ulm. Meeplecon. Alchemists. Terraforming Mars, Everdale, and the Great Western Trail. Oh, Fister.
I would say, like, if Hans is listening, I think his 5 games would be Terraforming Mars, Terraforming Mars.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we covered most of the list here.
I think so. Chris of the show.
Yes, there we
Chris
go.
Morris. Cthulhu Wars, Star Wars Rebellion, Innovation, yes, Obsession, and of course, Zero Escape, his own design, which is
his own game.
Fantastic game.
Yes, that's a great game. Did we do Rock and Robin?
No, I don't think we did.
Okay, so Brave Sir Robin 42, Rock and Robin, only 5 games, question mark. Yeah, I know, painful, right? Star Wars Rebellion, see? Scythe, yeah. Tainted Grail, I thought that one or Seventh Continent was going to be on your list. XCOM, Pandemic Rome. Is that Pandemic Rome or just Pandemic and then Rome?
Pandemic, but it's probably the Pandemic Fall of Rome.
Yes, possibly. Yeah. Tainted Grail.
It's a great game. I don't know if I would put it in a 5 game, but it is fantastic. It's great.
Cool. I think did we do Tom McKee?
No, we didn't. Tom McKee
No,
said,
go ahead.
"Wow, this would be tough." But Twilight Imperium 4,
Yeah.
Clockwork Wars, Cthulhu Wars, Bus, and Pax Pamir 2nd Edition. Some nice heavy games.
Nice.
Love it. I could play those exclusively for years and never want for more.
Yeah, I wish my brain worked like that. Cool.
So,
Well,
great 5-game lists.
Yeah. How do you feel we did about attacking this topic?
I think we did it justice. I feel really good about my serious list and then my fun list.
Your selfish list.
My selfish list.
Yeah, your Daffy Duck list. Mine. All right, so we're getting to that point where I always love to say thank you for listening to what we have to say about board games. And as always, I'm your host, Norm.
And I'm Ryan.
And we'll catch you later. Cool.
Right on.
Let's take a 5-minute intermission.
Take a quick 5-minute intermission.
Yeah, and then we'll come back.
Awesome. Okay, folks. Anybody's in the stream? Looks like we've got Jeff in the stream. We've got Ashley in the stream, and we've got Hans in the stream.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, folks. Thanks for joining us again. We will be right back in about 5 minutes. We're just going to grab some water and a quick bathroom break by me. TMI.
A bio break.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, I think we're back.
All right. I understand we're back. Okay.
People will let us know if we're not back, but I feel like I'm back in spirit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have the show notes open right now.
Yeah.
Where are they? There they are.
Number 96.
Wow.
Good old 96. I don't know what that means.
96.
Okay.
Oh, we're getting so close to 100.
I know.
So close.
All right. A little sip. Are you ready?
I'm trying to whistle.
All right. Welcome to Cardboard Conjecture. I'm your host, Norm.
And I'm Ryan.
And on this episode, no more up talking. We're going to do some thinking, doing, playing board games, and we're going to do some news new to us. Ryan, let's give us some topic, please.
I know. I was trying to practice my whistling beforehand, but I was trying to do the. See, it didn't even work again. That was much better. That was much better than mine. We're talking about the good, the bad, the ugly of board game box art.
Oh, there's a lot to talk about.
Talk about more like box farts.
All right. No, let's not talk about that. Okay, coming back in. And we're back. This is Cardboard Conjecture. Let's talk board games. I noticed, I'll start off, but I noticed something about both our picks here.
I do realize that too.
They're both app driven. They're both dungeon diver kind of things. What I'm going to talk about is a wee little game that I picked up called Destinies. And Destinies is designed by Mikhail Golubiowski and Philip Molinsky. I think I got that. Published by Lucky Duck Games, who is, where is it? Chronicles of Crime, with their whole QR code system. This is, without getting too deep into it, this is a dungeon diver. I'm a solo player, so this is a big appeal to me. And it's like a scenario-driven app system. I would say more app-driven, more app system than game system. Game system for the fact that there's map being built on your table. You've got your miniatures moving around, but story narrative-driven through the app. Now, there's no complaints, but understand that you're going to have a lot of the time that you're looking at either your iPad or your iPhone in regards to what's going on in the game. Now, if you can handle that, this is a fun game.
Cool.
I'm doing the Challenger solo, which is if you don't, it's like either you do it or you don't, right? And what the nature of it is every time that you make a decision, sometimes you're rolling dice. Sometimes you're using items, which is where the QR code comes in, and I'm liking all the choices I'm having so far. Without reviewing it, I'm in. I still want to get into that game and play some more. I might even just do some YouTube plays just because I'm having so much fun with it. So
Cool.
I know that you've finished it, or you and.
Yeah, we finished off the base box. Now I kickstarted it, so I got the expansion material in there too.
You do.
So so I have the expansion material. We were quite disappointed that one of the expansion materials is not yet available on the app yet. They're still developing it, but yeah, no, it was really interesting. We really enjoyed it. It was really fun. My one critique of it was that there didn't really need to be any physical components.
Well,
it is a very app driven game.
Yeah.
Where you're just manipulating things, but everything's taking back. You're interacting with the icons on the app. My one thing, I'm not complaining that it has the physical components about it as well. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. It was
No,
just yeah.
it's not a traditional board game. It
Yeah.
is a hybrid app game with a board game lean,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I love this story. I mean, I have two regular D&D games going on, right? So
Yeah.
I'm into that thing, that environment of storytelling.
And
Um,
so you've only really been playing through like the intro, the
the first
first
two
one, right?
scenarios, yeah,
Yeah,
I did
yeah.
the first one, I think 4 or 5 times, tried different ways. Now I want to go back to it.
Yeah.
There's two other characters that I haven't tried
I really
to see what kind of
yeah,
story thread
I'm really
happens,
interested
right?
because the whole thing of, and this is not any spoiler or anything like that. The whole reason why it's called Destinies is
Yeah,
because each scenario is there is a linking narrative, even though they're
yeah,
playing with completely different characters, but these characters' destinies are intertwined somehow and stuff like that. So
that's kind of cool.
it's really cool.
Story arc wise, and the big arc, they're all destinies are intertwined. Cool.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
really,
it. I
really
can't
neat.
wait to. Yeah. So yeah, that's Destinies from Lucky Duck Games. Well done, company.
And so we're going to go from that one to another game that created a lot of buzz
Oh man.
about why does this have the app? Why does this even have a board? You're paying now Destiny's fantastic price point, like $40,
Yeah.
$50
Yeah.
for this thing. I'm going to be talking about Descent Legends of the Dark $200 game that's also heavily relied upon on an app. I'll though go beyond that Descent Legends of the Dark is not a third edition of Descent. It is its own game. The physical components of creating the board is something I haven't seen yet. Like I used to play Dungeons and Dragons a long time ago, but I never ever had a DM or a GM that actually made like terrain or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was like all visual and stuff like that. This is taking that terrain, so you're laying out the tiles, but this is also creating the 3D.
Yeah.
So we just
I
finished
saw
talking
some
about
pictures.
we talked about a game. We talked about the topic of immersion and thematics.
Mhm.
This game immerses you into the world. There you can physically see the trees and the steps and the archways and the fountains and the
There's
things.
tiers. There's tiers
Yeah.
of terrain. Yeah.
So you're getting that descent feel, moving your figures, using fatigue. They got a neat little card flipping system of how to clear off your fatigue and using your weapons and trying to choose which abilities to use when. Really,
Yeah.
really quite neat. I really like the app. So I think Journeys in Middle Earth. You play Journeys in Middle Earth,
Yep.
and Journeys in Middle Earth Plus. They've now advanced that system that they created with Journeys in Middle Earth. They created this game with the app in mind and what the app will do.
Yeah.
And
That next
wow.
level thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wow, does it take care of all of the fiddly bookkeeping that say something like Gloomhaven has.
Yeah.
Something like that. Like I can interact with a tree or something like that and it'll get me a whole bunch of resources. Now I don't have to track what those resources are. The app will say,
Yeah.
okay, now you have because after you've done a scenario, so I've played 3 scenarios now. And wow, scenario wise, like we're not talking about like the intro scenario. The very first scenario is not a cakewalk by any stretch, and it's not a short scenario either. It still took me over 2 hours to complete that one scenario just because of all the stuff that I had to do. But then after the fact, when you are now going into town, I'll call it that,
Yeah.
because now you can upgrade your stuff. All those resources that you got and all that gold and everything that you have now, you can now buy new equipment. You can make potions. You
Yeah.
can do these
Cool.
things. Equip your hero. And I like the fact that it's in the app because after I'm done my scenario, I can kind of go veg out on the couch with my iPad, and I can do all that stuff. Like, okay, I'm gonna make this hammer. Oh yeah, now I'm gonna upgrade this guy's stats and everything. And I can just sit down for like about like 10, 15 minutes, chill out afterwards because that last scenario was emotionally draining of all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
really enjoying what this thing is able to do. What they're able to do with the app and interacting
Cool.
with the components on the table is really
Cool.
quite neat. I don't know if I could see this just being an app-based game. You need to have those physical components
Okay.
in front of you and committing the dice, like doing the dice rolls, like you're playing these role-playing games. You have to have that.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's what I like about Destinies is you have those 2 dice that you use all the time, and then you have those 3 exhausted dice, the purple dice,
yeah.
and there's a there's a lot of push your
Yeah.
luck going on.
Yeah, and if I had to complain about the app too, because the app does take care of literally everything. Like
Too
it
much.
says, like my card says, oh, I can doom my characters, and on the app, okay, it says I click on the enemy, and then I said now the enemy is doomed. I still have absolutely no idea what dooming an enemy does. Strategy wise, it's just that the app does it. And now I can do. Oh look. I guess it's calculating some extra damage. I guess. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But I still actually have no idea what that keyword does.
Yeah. What's going on? I don't know. The app will take care of it. Okay.
Yeah. Now here's a really cool thing, because with Descent, or at least in the second edition, there's always some fiddly things. Even in Imperial Assault, there's always some fiddly things with line of sight. Do I have line of sight on something? Do I not have line of sight on something? The app actually has a line of sight tool. So it says, hey, I'm on this square.
Yeah.
If I click on that square, it
Tap
shows
it
you
and
what you have line of sight to
Nice.
in everything. And I was like, no more ambiguous questions. No more me getting out my ruler and saying, going from this hex to there to that square to that square. Is it
Does this
passing
point
through?
touch that point?
Is it passing through? Nope, no, none of that. Click on the line of sight tool. Probably I think that was the best feature of this whole app. And yeah, I'm just playing it solo. And I have to always make sure that my kitchen table is cleared off, because the maps that it creates are huge.
Yeah.
I took one picture of the intro scenario to send you guys, and it spanned my entire kitchen table. Like, if I didn't play it on there, I have no idea. I would have to just like chunk it off. Like, am I going to go back to this part of the map? No. Okay, just clear that stuff away and shift everything over.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Descent,
Sounds like
Legends
you're
of the
having
Dark.
fun.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
nice.
really, really good. I used my store credit in order to get this one for us, and it was really good.
Cool.
It's really good. I recommend it. If you're not into app-based games, neither of these games we talked about you're going to enjoy. But I really like it.
Play Mage Knight then.
Or Gloomhaven.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, you hear what I hear? You hear? It's the news.
It's the news. And I got a couple quick hitters. Some things that are on the BGG hotness. Actually, as of today, this one's #1 on the BGG hotness. The new Vital Lacerda game with Ian O'Toole artwork, published by Eagle Griffin Games. You know I'm going to get it. It's going to go right next to all these other ones on my screen.
Yeah.
You know I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
Because this game is called Weather Machine, which when you got to look at the box cover art.
I'm clicking on it right now.
Thing looks absolutely gorgeous. I have no idea how this game plays, other than I know that I'm going to have it.
It's got a steampunk feel.
So here's a little blurb where it says, natural disasters will soon be a thing of the past, proclaimed Professor Lativ, project chief of meteorological manipulation at Lighting Technologies. Tests of his new invention, the Weather Machine, showed positive results. Visions of quelling floods, subduing cyclones, and ending droughts made him smile. So you're scientists tampering with the local weather and adjusting things and stuff like that. And each use of it boasts here, each use of the Weather Machine also alters the conditions elsewhere on the planet, a sort of butterfly effect. So I can only imagine what crazy things we're going to get going on in this game.
It plays solo.
Yeah, the pictures look absolutely amazing. We got bits galore. We've got recessed player boards.
And you know, Vital's not known for making deep games. You just pick a card or play a card and pick up a card. That's all you do.
Right?
Yeah, right.
Just move some tokens around.
Yeah.
This one
Yeah.
action doesn't have 15 side actions
Oh,
associated with it.
I can't wait.
This
I
thing
can't-
looks absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait, just because, you know, these other ones just kind of sit on my shelf. So they get a little lonely.
Yeah. Well, they're turning into a dynamic duo there with the Lacerda O'Toole combination.
Yeah.
Pieces
so,
of art is what I'm referring to. Yeah.
yeah. So
Which kind
Weather
of
Machine
yeah.
coming to
Cool.
Kickstarter soon. They're advertising.
Right on. What's the next one you got?
The next one I have, actually, it's kind of falling off the hotness a little bit, but it's I want to talk about it because I actually played quite a few rounds of this during the lockdown when we were first heavy into the lockdown. Now, this is Rolling Realms by Jamie Stegmaier and Stonemaier Games. Now, Rolling Realms was a project that was solely a print and play project designed by Jamie
Oh yeah.
as a result of the global pandemic and lockdowns everywhere. He wanted to design a game that people could just print off and play. And actually he ran numerous live streams just play testing the crap out of this game.
Yeah.
And I played many iterations of it. It was really, really fun. Jen enjoyed it quite a bit. And then all of a sudden he put it out to his ambassadors. He did a poll where he says, would you be interested in a physical release of Rolling Realms? And unanimously, everybody said, yeah, give it that Stonemaier treatment.
Oh yeah.
And release
I'm
it.
clicking through the pictures here. That's gorgeous.
So, yeah, so now he's done it, and it's going to be coming out fairly soon. I think it's going to be coming out Q4 this year. And so everything's like the idea of the game is that there's these 9 sections, and every section is named after one of the Stonemaier games. So like, there's the Wingspan tile, and there's the Viticulture tile, and there's the Euphoria tile, and all these things. And the way that they score you points are completely different and very thematic to the world
Yeah.
that
they come from.
So really, really kind of cool. So yeah, all these cards are like those, like what you
Very
got in
clever.
Silver and Gold has those dry erase cards.
Yeah.
Very similar style here. It's going to have the laminated cards with this, and you're going to get the dry erase markers.
Dice. It's got dice.
Well, because it's a roll and write.
I stop.
And so yeah, he gave it that Stonemaier treatment.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's coming out, and it's going to be very inexpensive, and it looks really, really cool. I think people, if you haven't tried the print and play, you can actually go on the Stonemaier Games website and try out the print and play, the latest iteration. It went, oh my gosh, the one that we played, and then I read the rules just recently of this new, completely different games than the ones that I played during lockdown.
Oh, cool. So they took the feedback
Really,
and
really honed it. This was a community effort.
nice.
That created this game, and so
I
it's
might have to pick this up.
yeah, it looks really cool. So Rolling Realms coming out
Right on.
very, very shortly. I assume. I can't remember what he said the release date is.
Well, I'm gonna do like I did last time, and I'm gonna go and have a little meander in Game Found, and and not that, and as I said before, I am by no means even close to being the same Kickstarter ambassador or addict as my counterpart here, but Lords of Ragnarok.
Sold. All in.
Awakened Realms.
Don't even. I don't need details. It's got all
the-
my money.
The minis are incredible. The backer, so it's the spiritual successor to Lords of Hellas, innovative dudes on the map board game set in unique mix of Nordic mythology and sci-fi. My brain just melted right there. Raise magnificent monuments, hunt monsters, and fight epic battles. Yeah.
So, do you know of a little game called Lords of Hellas?
I've not played it. I've heard tons about it. I've always wanted to play
Same
it.
company, Awakened
Yeah,
Realms.
yeah.
And this is the spiritual successor to Lords of Hellas. Lords of Hellas had more of a Greek
Yeah, they had a different fusion going on.
Yeah, so now they're gonna
Yeah.
take the Norse mythology.
So are they taking the same engine and just putting a different combo to it? Or are they kind
No,
of find
I think they're gonna create. This is gonna be a brand new game.
okay.
I think they're gonna try to hone in on that. Hey, we're gonna kind of try to name it in the same vein as
Yeah.
Lords of Hellas and get
The
those people in.
branding
But I
wise.
think this is
Yeah.
gonna be a completely different
Good.
game
Good.
because
I like
they are calling it innovative.
yeah.
And Lords of Hellas was pretty different for its time. So I hope they actually change up a little bit of that.
And I
But
do remember their minis were
oh my
kind of
gosh,
upper scale for their time too.
yeah, because you had the smaller units that you control over. And then they had like mid-range monster
Yeah.
level, but then they actually had these gigantic
Yeah.
statues that came across. So
Yeah.
yeah, this one's got all my money.
Cool.
It
All
hasn't
right.
even,
Well,
there's 58 days until it releases, and I've already spent it.
well, see, that one was interesting to me because of the grandeur of it. But this next one, by El Dorado Games, Legend Academy. I'm going to read the little blurb they have. Attend a prestigious institute where characters train to become tomorrow's legends. A competitive deck building, card crafting, worker placement adventure game. Sold, 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 and sold.
So are you backing it?
Deck building, card crafting, worker placement. Well, I've got 2 hours and 3 minutes as of right now, if I'm gonna back this. But
Are you
I've
backing
been
it?
I no, I'm not. I
Click,
don't know.
click, click.
Okay, well, after the episode, I'll go look a little deep. No, it says wait, 6 days left. I've got time because I
Click.
think they. I'll do the dollar thing just to make sure.
Smoke.
Yeah, it. What's the goal? Yeah, they're well funded, so this isn't one of those kind of. This game looks so cool. Have you heard of this one before?
I did not. I saw it. I didn't actually even pay attention to it. Now that you got me scrolling through it, I might have to click.
Yeah, right?
It's got one of those like adventure books, which is kind of like everything is taking place in like your maps are taking place inside
Yeah.
like a coil bound book. There's like a magnetic box that contains like the cards and components and
Just
stuff like
scrolling
that.
through. Yeah, like I mean,
And that magnetic box also looks like it houses as a yeah.
did you see the player board? The two-layered
Yeah,
so
this looks really
yeah.
interesting. How did this not get it? We should have done a Kickstarter excess or value episode on this.
3 exclusive expansions. These backer exclusive adventure novels are mini expansions that include a lot of new components and
Interesting.
dude.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah. This is like this is looking very pro. I should stop scrolling down because I could get into trouble here.
Yeah.
What is this? The Legend Academy Deluxe Edition, $69.
69 US dollars.
Is that US or Canadian? I'm not sure.
US.
Okay, it's got to be US.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I just clicked on the Canadian dollar. It's 87 Canadian dollars.
Okay. Well, yeah, still that's not bad. Ooh, okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to look into this one.
Well, see, you buy it so that I don't have to. And
All right then. See, the last episode we started this, I knew this was gonna be a bad idea because okay, not a bad
see, you
idea, a
gotta do
good
what I
idea
did.
that could do
You gotta
bad
see-
things.
You got to do what I did. Like last episode, I talked about crowdfunding. This episode, I did not talk about crowdfunding. You got to pace yourself, Norm.
I get in trouble.
You gotta pace yourself. This is what I've learned. I'll coach you through this.
All right, good. That's a good segue point.
Also, click.
Yeah, don't. All right, coming back in. And we're back. This is Cardboard Conjecture, and we're going to go into topics. And Ryan, I always pitch it to you because you start talking and I'll try and do the whistle in the background. You ready? Okay.
Okay.
You introduce the topic.
We are gonna talk about the good, the bad, the ugly of box farts. I mean box art.
Oh, Okay. This one was on our little brainstorm list, and
This is a Cardboard Conjecture original thought, one of our last ones that we have.
We'll have to have a brainstorm session again. But yeah, this this one I kind of threw the parameters of in each category: good, bad, ugly. Come up with at least minimum of three, right?
Oh my
And
God.
I, I just basically threw down a whole bunch, and I'm probably gonna pick and choose off my
Okay,
little list
okay.
here. But
Okay, so I have to put this out there. When I was actually doing this research for this one, or research means me looking at pictures on BGG type
yeah,
of thing.
or BGG lists. Yeah.
What did you find yourself focusing trying to find bad and ugly art more than trying to find good? Because there's lots of
Oh yeah.
beautiful, but I was like, okay, yeah, that one
I was
falls into a bad
I
category.
was looking for train wrecks, man.
Yeah, where so like I felt like I probably passed by some of the good ones just because I was so focused trying to find bad and ugly.
Well, okay, the good thing we're leaving that one to last because I'm pretty sure if we both did research, we're gonna have some crossovers because yeah, there's one that a game that I've never played before, and I saw the designer and the publisher and went, what? that got through? All right, okay, that must yeah.
Okay,
So
so what are we talking about first?
oh, the good. Got to start with the good.
The goods?
Yeah.
The goods.
The good. Okay, you start first because if you don't say this one out of the gates, I'm taking it. So you go
Okay,
ahead.
well I can see your list, but you can't see my list.
No, I can't see
which
your
is
list.
which is a so I'm gonna go out in left field here as my first good. When we talked about like in a past episode, I don't remember the episode number, but we talked about our favorite board game artists.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about it. This guy got brought up, and it's a Kwanchai Moria box cover. Designs very vibrant, beautiful things. Under Falling Skies has a great box cover
Yes.
to it.
You're absolutely right.
So when I was actually looking at these, when I was looking at good, I was looking at bright and colorful, vibrant. Is it actually depicting what you're going to be trying to do in the game
Yeah.
as well? And so
Yeah.
Under Falling Skies does that very, very well. It's got kind of like this war room-esque thing. It's got Space Invaders type artwork going on with it. Under Falling Skies has, I think, very, very good box art, and it's got a good shelf presence when it's like your attention is drawn to it.
Yeah. It's appealing art. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Under Falling Skies is my first vote into the good.
Okay. My first vote is one of your favorite games, but I completely adore the artwork because of its hybrid fusion what if reality scenarios, and that's the Scythe box and the artist Jacob Rosalski, and it's that whole steampunk mech post World War One devastated landscape, bleak. Yeah, it's
One of the rare instances where art
yeah.
inspired the game.
And that's probably why it's one of my favorite ones because it's exactly that, right? You know, this one kind of the cart came before the horse, right?
Yeah. So no, I completely agree with that one. Absolutely beautiful for what it does. Very stunning.
Oh yeah. And the cards, like when you get the cards, I don't even read the choices. I just look at the art and go, that is so cool. Yeah. Cool. All right. What's yours in good?
Another good.
Yeah.
And it's it's kind of a smaller box, but it's very we talked about it. We talk about it quite often. Got great artwork on it. Parks got a very great aesthetic on the box cover to it. If you don't know what Parks is or is doing, drop what you're doing right now. Go and buy it. You're not going to be sorry about it. Parks is a fantastic. This is another game inspired by the National Collection of art that that this team of artists did about all the
Yeah.
national parks across the U.S. and North America type deal. And so it was another game inspired by the art. There's a kind of a theme
Yeah.
emerging here with our games.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I've got that on my list as well. I'm glad you talked about it. The artwork is fantastic. You're just riveted when I play that game. I'm on every aspect, there's nothing that I want to miss, even on the game board, right? So good pick. My next one, I put a little link so you could see the box cover yourself, is probably this artist style brings back so much literary nostalgia for me for some reason. I don't know. And that's Museum, and the artist is Vincent Dutray. And the first of all, like the box itself, the game Museum, like you talked about, that the image choice or like the composition alludes to what you expect in the game, right? And this is exactly what you get. I mean, you're looking down a long hallway through this arched museum corridor, and there are treasures all over the place. It's that 1920s kind of Indiana Jones era. The art style is reminiscent of that age, right? There's a style choice there, and on certain cards, and some of the stuff too, there's kind of like a grainy film grain texture to it that for me connects me to that old film era of that style of storytelling, I guess. So yeah. And Vincent Dutray, he's in, as we said before with the episode of our favorite artists, he was on my list of favorite artists. So yeah,
Right
Museum.
on.
I love that game cover.
Cool. I see. So my last one, because we're only talking about three.
Yeah.
My last one, I see you have the artist on your list, but I have a different game that I
Yeah, for
like.
sure.
That I like. You can't talk about art without talking about Ryan Lockett.
Yeah.
The guy who's the jack of all trades, like designs the games,
The
illustrates the
Renaissance
games,
man.
does everything.
Yeah.
I have Sleeping Gods as the box cover art because man, oh man, does that get you wondering what is going on. It's very colorful blue.
Yeah.
It's got that picture of the Manticore ship that you're going to be playing as in the ship, and then mysteriously, it's got this gigantic sea-like creature underneath, and it's got you wondering.
That
Sleeping God. Like,
foreboding.
it's
Yeah.
got the title Sleeping Gods and the nice yellow golden lettering right above it, and you got this. It's got you full of wonder.
Kaiju.
What's underneath there, and what is this game about? And absolutely stunning. It's great. All of his artwork is stunning and great, but I think he really outdid himself with the world of Sleeping Gods, and he really, unfortunately, you can't really see this on the game shelves. It's kind of harder to find right now, but it is one of those games that if it's front facing on a game shelf, it pops. You are going to stop and take a look at that.
Yeah. Great art. I mean, he's on my list for with Empires of the Void 2. That whole he takes that essence into a space theme. So yeah, good pick. My my I'm caught in between who to talk about. Now we talk in the earlier part we talked about Ian O'Toole and
You
his
just list all of Ian O'Toole's box
yeah. I
covers,
mean,
and
we could just talk the whole thing could be about his stuff. So I'm gonna mention somebody who does the greatest character driven art that I've seen in a long time, and that's the Miko and Paladins of the West Kingdoms. Is I mean, I have architects as well, but for some reason Paladins, just the characters he gets and the unique personality that he's able to blend into the characters, and which kind of, I mean, combines with the card's power or ability, right? So it's not just, hey, let's draw a bunch of stuff. There's, I mean, at least I see it, or that's what I recognize. But Yeah, I love his style. He's got
Hmm.
such a great caricature type of
Neat.
art.
Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah.
That's a good pick. I saw some of his stuff. I wouldn't. I didn't think that it was like exemplary, but everything like that. But he does get you drawn into the world. Like he's got his very unique style about him,
Yep.
type like that. No, good pick.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you. Let's get into some
Oh,
bad box art.
okay. So Norm, what makes bad? What okay in your mind? What are you defining? How did you come up with the bad? Like what's a bad box cover for you?
For me, the bad box cover, you put yourself in that category when there's just a couple things that just don't work. And it's just like, who let that get by?
Mm.
Did nobody point that out? Like what? Right. So can I go first on this one?
Go for it.
Okay. The first one, bad box art, Great Western Trail. Right. I mean, those are the three scariest looking faces I have ever seen. I've
They
seen
are high.
mannequins.
They're high on something.
Yeah, I've seen mannequins with more charisma than those three mugs on that box cover. But it got a facelift, I believe. There's a new
Yeah.
trilogy set coming out with, I
Yeah.
think, I don't want to say, but I'm trying to, I want to say it's Vincent Dutray. I'll look back on that, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know who's on the new art.
Yeah, I don't, and that's why I'm not talking from here on in. I'm not going to talk about the artist because I don't want people to like, make bad. I'm just going to talk about some bad choices.
Yeah.
And Great Western Trail, yeah, yeah, that's bad, bad. All
Yeah.
right, your
Okay.
your
Yeah.
turn.
Yeah. So I think I did the same thing with you. I think I saw you can do some things some Google searches about bad board game box art and stuff like that, and there's lists and everything like that. I tried to not stick to those lists. I found some ones that, in my mind, they don't jive with me, and
Yeah.
so one that didn't jive with me was the Isle of Cats box cover. Too much
Okay.
white space. The
Oh
for how
yeah.
size that thing is, and it's just like Isle of Cats. Some pictures of the cats was hugging the letters, and then that's it. There's no feeling in like,
Yeah.
it's just white. Like
You know,
it's a very bold choice. I don't like it. I
now
don't like it.
there's a box cover that has the same amount of white, but does a good job of it, and that's Takedo.
Yeah, I see. I thought Takedo's was bad too.
Did you?
Yeah.
See, okay, well, I thought Takedo's was kind of cool,
Well, I see
but
what Takedo was trying to do because it is
yeah,
that kind of like that simplistic, the
clean.
cleanish type of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how that fits in with the Isle of Cats
Yeah.
game. They could have made that so.
It could have been a
It
budget decision.
could have been more.
Yeah.
It could have been
Could have
way
been
more.
yeah. Yeah. Let's hope it was we didn't have enough to pay for inking the whole box, just the center.
Yeah, no. So
But
I'm
it's a
gonna
fun
go out
game.
for,
Yeah.
in my opinion, in my conjecture, Isle of Cats had too much white space, too much wasted thing. Really, it's kind of like if I look at that on the shelf,
Yeah.
I'll be like, okay, pass.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of
So
agree. My next one, it pains me to say this. There's a few of them that pains me to say because they're games I love, but
oh,
this one pains me to say this because it looks like a bad ad for in the yellow pages for a restaurant, and that's Concordia.
what is that lady
That
looking at?
that is just it was like who didn't know did nobody point out that this does not make any sense whatsoever. Yeah, the for some reason I look at that and I'm thinking how brilliant or how many sales would this game have if it had a more appealing box cover, because it's a like I said, it made my 5 game collection, right? So the game is brilliant, the box cover bad.
Okay, but do you know what really makes a bad board game cover? is one that's trying to emulate the cover of a novel. I'm talking about Pillars of the Earth. Man, is
Oh,
that
yeah.
boring. That does not draw me in.
Yeah.
If that's sitting on the shelf next to another Euro type game that has like the bright, vibrant Vincent Dutrait art and Michael Menzel type Ian O'Toole art, where like I'm passing by it. Like that is just like the picture of a bland cathedral being constructed in the far off background. It's not even like the center of attention
Yeah.
type of thing. So the pillars
30
of the
yeah, 30 shades of sage.
So it's like, yeah, and I can see what they're trying to emulate like what the book cover
Yeah.
kind of look like, which still I wouldn't even picked up that book based on that cover art. Like they're not doing their job.
Yeah.
Like ugly. No, not ugly, bad. That was bad. That was a bad decision. You could have done so much more to draw us in with that one.
My third one is a game that I got rid of, but I might get the new version because it's a little less offensive. So the original, and this is the original box cover of Kalis.
No.
Yeah, is has this angry, cantankerous, bitter, scolding monarch or some noble on the cover, and again, it's that whole Euro palette of browns and greens and tans, and yeah, there's blue in there, but the blue looks just depressed.
No.
So yeah, and I understand that the new Kalis had some thought go into the cover because they didn't want to have any parallel associations with the old cover. So because the old cover is bad.
Bad. Oh, I have so many bads and everything. I'm just gonna do a rapid fire before I get to the one I want you to focus on.
Okay.
I think it's bad when the box cover just has just the name of the game on it,
Okay.
without anything else. An example of that was like London Second Edition. That's just a bad design.
Oh, great game. Yeah.
Great game. Actually,
Okay.
you should take a look at what London First Edition looked like. Blech.
Okay. Rapid fire.
Rapid fire. Firefly. Bad. It's just a picture of the cast on the show. I want you to look up right now. Roll for the South Pole.
Oh, I said no. Yeah.
Trying to
on
give the listeners here. Roll for the South Pole. This is bad. The guy. So it's got a guy on a dog sled.
Yeah.
And the dogs look like rabid wolves.
Yeah.
Sharp pointy teeth. Psychotic.
You just you have this shock when you look at it. Oh,
And the guy on the sled has got too much emotion. Like he's getting too much thrill out of whipping these dogs.
yeah.
Like he's got this crazed psycho. Like
There's a sadistic
what the
look in those
heck?
eyes.
How did this pass as a game cover? I don't even know what this game's about. I just saw it on one of these lists. You have to highlight it.
Scared you.
Pause the podcast right now wherever you are. Look up Roll for the South Pole. You're not going to be disappointed with what you see.
All right. So what's bad? What's bad? What's the one that is that the one that you?
No, that was the one.
That was the pick.
That's the bad.
Okay, yeah, then absolutely, because I'm like, if that's bad, if that's didn't make your bad pick, then I want to know what's bad. No, that is bad.
Bad.
Okay, let's get to some ugly box art.
You got
Some ugly.
Just do a Google search of ugly box covers for board games, and you will not be disappointed.
On my list for your viewing pleasure, Ryan, I put a link to the first one I want to talk about.
I saw this one.
This one is called. Now, first of all, I'm going to give you the details. It's a Garfield game or Garfield game, which is Shem Phillips.
It's designed by Shem Phillips.
Shem Phillips, Plethora. It is the scariest looking thing I have seen in a while. It's got this this art kind of painting of, I don't know, it looks like a hunchback, but it's this weird folding blue hat of this crazy character pointing to some box with
It looks
this
like he's
this
supposed to be
like
like a gem dealer, and he's just
but
like, come and look,
oh
come and
yeah,
look at my
there's
little trinkets.
there's some
I think
nasty.
I think there's a reason why he started going with the Miko.
Oh yeah, because this was the Noko.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the plethora. When you look at that picture, you're gonna go, who thought this was a good choice?
Hate to break it to you. Did you look at who the artist is on
Oh
BGG?
no, 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 no! I don't want to see.
It's actually Shem himself.
Oh, okay. Well, Shem, good thing that you got the Miko
Stick to
because
designing games, not illustrating them.
yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, I feel bad now. I feel bad.
Whoops.
The Canadian in me's coming out. Sorry, eh? But you know.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Ugly. Can I put a category here of everything Aaliyah Ravensburger?
Well, that's
That's a cop
era.
out. That's a cop
Yeah.
out.
I mean, I was there's
Okay.
there's that chunk of Euro nostalgia that's got this blandness to it because that wasn't a thing then, I guess, right?
Okay. So type into
But
Board
you're
Game
right.
Geek. Type into Board Game Geek right now. Guildhall. Did you see these ones?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
The
that was
guy,
bad.
who is this guy? He's just holding pigs
Yeah.
in his arms. He's crazed.
Yeah.
I
There's-
don't know what's going on here.
There's all the wrong facial expressions going on in that picture.
So that is the one that came over to North America, published by AEG.
Yeah.
If you can find, and I'm trying to see if I can find, if you can find it, find the original German cover. It's even worse.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
The original
Absolutely.
German cover had this kind of like sly looking, kind of like rich dude, and then a very voluptuous woman, and then another crazed gem dealer.
Yeah.
And the gem dealer and the rich guy are just staring at the woman's breasts.
None of it makes sense
No.
at all.
It's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. Well, let's transition to one less controversial, but just as I don't get it. And I love this game. This is another one that made my top 5. Is Hansa Teutonica.
It's so
That is, I mean, when you said that Aliyah, right, that era of the German board games, this is standing on the top of that pile, going, this is bad box. This is not even bad. This is ugly. I'm glad that they took the opportunity in their big box that came out to dabble in updating that box cover because
ever so slightly.
yeah, it does not at all reflect the greatness inside the box though. So yeah, Hansa Teutonica, it's so ugly that you have to love it.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. My next one is a game that has many iterations throughout its lifespan. The early ones, as back as the mid 70s, actually had pretty good box cover art for the time. A game I'm calling Cosmic Encounter.
Oh yeah.
The one from the 70s had exactly what it was. That sci-fi look to it, like a Doctor Who sci-fi look.
Yeah.
It looked great, the one from the 70s. The next one came out. It actually had some more evilish looking aliens on it, but everything still quite good. And then they released an edition of Cosmic Encounter in 1991 that is just ugly. Like, it just says, it literally just says Cosmic Encounter on the box with some solar system rings, and you can barely read the word encounter because they use that typeface where all the letters blend together.
Yeah.
It's like
the way you hit the word ugly, you dropped it an octave. That's how important it was. It's ugly.
Ugly. So, and it was like, what were they thinking? And then they created an expansion box to that version, and it said more Cosmic Encounter, and it was even uglier. So this is like, and then they redid it in 2000 with some better artwork, and then it just has fantastic artwork nowadays. But in the early 90s, 91, Cosmic Encounter had butt ugly artwork to it.
All right, my last one here is again, the games are phenomenal and deep, and it's a splatter game, and it's Roads and Boats. I've never
What
played
were
this.
they thinking?
It looks like an 8-year-old drew a picture. Um, Now, if that's the case, I don't want to diss the 8-year-old, because for that age, it's not bad. But for a splatter game that, and again, I've never heard of a splatter game that was under $100, right? And I think, Roads and Boats is one of those categories where it's an expensive one. And this is the big conundrum I have with splatter is their components, and and the art, there's none. You're just basically buying the engineering of the game with prototype level components, but it's niche. And but this Roads and Boats, I don't know what just everything's wrong with it. It's a pencil crayon fridge picture, in my opinion.
Yeah.
uh, but maybe I don't get it.
Maybe
But the
you just
game,
don't
I've heard
get
the
it.
game's great, but this is ugly. Yeah,
Oh.
if I'm paying $150, no, give me something nice on my shelf, please.
Well, it's kind of like why they included, so part of Capstone Games re-released the game Bus.
Yeah,
And the original Bus had some ugly artwork, and they gave like the Capstone treatment to it and made
yeah,
an update version. But oh my goodness, like some of those early splatters were just like, yeah, kid with a crayon.
yeah. So yeah, that's my ugly. That one's ugly.
Okay, so let's hop onto the board. Let's hop on the train with my last one here. Another game okay, this one has so many things going wrong with it. Okay, the Cambridge
The
edition,
game or the cover?
the Cambridge edition of Glory to Rome. This is okay. What's going on with this thing?
That's the is that the red cover one?
That's the red cover one. With
Yeah,
the, with
okay.
with the middle school kids drawing of a Roman soldier.
I put that on my list, but I knew, because you love your Glory to Rome.
Well, you see, I got the Black Box edition, and it had such the cleaner artwork style to it. But anyways, this red cover version, the clamshell edition, they got this horrible rendition of a gladiator that was drawn by like a 10-year-old.
The artwork looks like artwork you'd find in a cartoon series in a newspaper.
And people love this edition for the artwork, and I don't get it. But also to boot, on the cover of the game too, they actually show like the components of the game.
Yeah,
That's supposed to be on the back of the box,
yeah. That's
not
another
on the
thing.
front cover.
I'm like, what's with the bullet points and the
Yeah.
What did they put like a spreadsheet on the front of the box too?
It is so weird. It's so ugly. Like, for what a fantastic game Glory to Rome is.
Yeah,
This is
it's ugly.
Oh yeah. Get
Okay.
that out of my face. I want to play the game, but I don't want to play
Yeah.
looking at that.
Yeah, you were right when you had mentioned that there's a lot more. Yeah, it's a train wreck. The ugly,
Like,
the ugly.
okay, if that edition is
train
sitting,
wreck.
if that edition is sitting on the game shelf, no one's gonna discover how good of a game that is
Yeah.
based on what you see.
Yeah, that's my Hansa Teutonica theory.
Yeah.
No, but this game went under the radar because everybody went, "That's ugly." Moving on. Cool.
Whoa.
So I think we caught the breadth of this, the
like-
good, the bad, and the
so
ugly.
people are catching this on Twitch and YouTube right now. Like, board game boxes are a work of art.
Oh yeah,
Like that. That's why I have them displayed the way I do. Like, now, these aren't the prime examples of the best art, but they are pieces of art, there are a lot of great and good ones. I thought it's funny that we shed some light on the bad and the ugly. Like, oh my gosh, how? There's gotta be one or two.
When I put that topic in there, I had some Canadian essence come up. I kept thinking, well, I'm gonna just say sorry at the end because I don't want to offend anybody, but you gotta have fun with it, right? So
Yeah.
if anybody's feelings got hurt, I'm sorry.
Aaliyah Ravensburger, up your game. They're still pumping out games with butt ugly box art.
Subjective, right? Art's subjective.
Yeah, not that though. Those are bad. Just up your game.
What's not subjective is our appreciation for you, you listeners, and what you put up with us. The good stuff, the bad stuff, and our ugly stuff too, right? That being said, I'm your host Norm,
and I'm UGLY. You ain't got no alibi. They ugly. Get them out of my face. I'm Ryan.
We'll catch you later. Oh,
I had that back in my mind. I was like, no, I'm saving that for the end shtick all the way.
Oh, please take us out.
Oh no, people should interact with. People should be able to interact with us. They were kind of quiet in the chat throughout that episode.
Well, that was fun.
I think their jaws just dropped and said, "I have no idea what the hell is going on right now."
Cool. Well, I think we got
two solid episodes there.
We got our times down. Perfect. It's not like we're school teachers and we like schedules.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, I gotta stop my recording.
Are we still streaming?
Yeah, we're still streaming.
Okay.
So still keep it PG.
You could probably take us out of the stream.
Oh, you want me to fade us out? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, people in the chat. Thanks for tuning in again. You guys are always lovely as always. Hans said that Ethnos has bad box art. Yeah, I kind of agree. It doesn't really do it for me either.
Vasco da Gama.
Da Gama. I don't know that one. I'll have to look.
I had that one. Yeah, it's bad. It's like Magellan painting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Zoom. Okay. Later, folks.
Ta-ta.
Ta-ta for now. UGLY. You ain't got no alibi. We ugly.